Hi guys, nice to see you again. Today I'm gonna share with you some more HTML elements, attributes and coding tips. And trust me, these will save you from headaches later. So let's go into CodePen right now and look at them. So first, how do you write comments in HTML and in any languages for that matter? So in any languages, in order to comment a line or write a comment, you just press Ctrl and slash. If I press Ctrl and slash here, then the line gets commented, and the same in CSS. But the comment is different in different languages, but what you need to remember is just Ctrl slash, and that's it. You can have multiple lines, and you just need to select them all and press Ctrl slash, and it gets commented. Awesome! The next step is you write the tag name, like paragraph, then you press tab. There you go. You created an HTML element just by writing the tag name and then pressing tab. When the element has a required attribute, it will automatically create the attribute for you and then move the cursor into the attribute. Let's say we have an image. Press tab and there you go. You are put in the source. Now you just have to paste the source of the image. Like in Anchor. There you go. You just have to put the href now, and then you will need to add the link in here. If I write P for paragraph, and then this is my paragraph, adding the attribute hidden will hide the content of the HTML element. If the HTML element is not yet or no longer relevant, you use this. And then we have title. So title will appear as a tooltip. When you hover over the element, if I hover over this is my paragraph, there you see the tooltip look at me. That's what the attribute title does. And then we have the attribute style. So inside style, we have another language called CSS, a wonderful one. We're gonna see that next time. Today I'm gonna just show you one of them, like a background color. Background color. Then we add a colon, and let's say pink. There you go, you see this? Now our paragraph has a background color of pink. And then let's see an HTML element that you may see yourself use sometimes, the table element. So this is used to create tables. Let me remove this style, and the caption here is the caption of the table. And then table head is for the head of the table. Then inside that we have TR. You have to remember this. TR stands for table row. In each row you have table data cells. Here we have table head, but then in the table body we have multiple rows and we have table data cells. Okay, so that's how you write a table. We will have a demo of this later, so we will maybe have more complex table to deal with. And then next, the progress element. The progress element is used for dynamic content. It's used to show the user how far is the progression of the file upload, for example. So we will need to change this value later with JavaScript, but other than that, you just have the max, and then starting from 1 to the max value, you will get the result. And that's how you use the progress element. Just like image, we have audio and video with the same attribute source. So you just need to put the sources of the audio or the video inside this src. Next, let's look at this wonderful HTML only page that I've created. What I want to show you here are some more attributes. Here, the first element we got is the main element, and we have the attribute ID with the value root. Why would you need an ID? Well, you use an ID to identify, like your name. Your name is used by others to call you. that's also why we add ID here, so that we can reference this element later and update it or change its content or add style to it. And next we have another identifier called class. The previous one, which is ID, we can only have one ID per element. What I mean is that the value of the idea can't be repeated with another element. I cannot have two elements with the same idea root, because that's not what IDs are for. But if I want to group elements, like for example, I want to have all the articles that display products, I can just add the class product, and then I can select them all later when I use CSS. Last but not least, we have emojis. Why do I show you emojis? Emojis are characters in UTF-8. For example, if you just press Windows semicolon, you get emojis. It's also characters. You can add it anywhere in your code, in your comments. So I want to add something to the idea and the class. So as you will often use them, you can add IDs and classes to your elements just by writing the tag name like P and then hashtag for idea and let's say idea. Then you press tab and you have a paragraph with the ID. If I say here article and add hashtag and say my article, then I will get an article with the ID my article. Look at that, how wonderful is that? And then you do the same thing for class, but you replace the hashtag with dot, like article.product. You press tab, there you get it. Awesome. It's so good. Next we have this awesome blog. So what we have here is the EM element in this so should you. So you use EM element in order to emphasize some part of a text that should be stressed in regard to its surrounding text. And then you can also use strong here. You use strong when the word or the sentence is of strong importance compared to the surrounding element. And here let's have a sneak peek inside the CSS we've just talked about earlier. We can set the maximum height of this image and set the maximum width, and then it won't go past the maximum height and maximum width, but will resize according to that. Like if I resize this page, get it here, as you can see, the width cannot go over 100% of its parent. How awesome is that? But it can't also go over the maximum height that I set. So that's a sneak peek for you. So next we have block quote. We use block quote for extended quotation. So this is from Seth Godin. We use address here to say that Seth Godin is the author of this quote. Next we have this page that I've created, this one first. Don't worry, all these pens, I will have them linked in the description so that you can see them and interact with them, even copy them, that's all fine. Here we have some content that appear when you click on the summary. Like you have a summary up here, and then when you click on the summary, the details appear. So that's exactly what's in the HTML code. Here we have the details element. You add the summary inside the summary element, and then everything outside the summary element is displayed when you click on the summary. So this is an awesome element. Next, what we have here is a dialog that can pop up. So here we put open for it to open by default. If I don't add the open, the dialog will disappear, and then we will have to open it with JavaScript later. But here we only have HTML right now, so I will put open, and what's inside that dialog is a form. So the form don't have to be inside the dialog. In the form we have method dialog, and this is wonderful because when you have a form inside a dialog and you add the method dialog, when you click on submit, then the dialog closes and the form sends the value of what's inside the form. So this is awesome. So let me refresh this real quick. What's up next? We have the field set. You use a field set to group a set of fields. The title of a field set is what's put in the legend element. And then we have labels. Your name here is a label. Label has an attribute 4. The value of 4 looks for the ID of that value. For example, we have an input of type text here with the ID name. And then, as we said earlier, here, this label, your name, targets the ID name of this input. So if I click on your name, my cursor moves to the value where I need to enter the name. Next, data list. So you use the data list to store a set of options. What we use it for here is we reference this list here in this input list equal pickup location, and this pickup location is this data list that has the ID pickup location. What this will do for us, this will let us select from the data list, but also if we have a lot of options, we can autocomplete from here. That will ease the life of our users. Awesome, this is wonderful. What do we have next? We have a text area to enter a text. Here we have input type file. Here it is. It has the attribute accept, which shows that we only accept this type of files. You can edit this to your heart's content. Here I have PNG and JPEG, for example, and if I click on choose file, I have here, look at these custom files, PNG and JPEG. I can only select this. So what do we have next? We have the select element. Here it is. So the select element has multiple options inside it. The user will only be able to select options from the options of the select element. And next, just a simple input date gives you the ability to have this wonderful thing. So next, the type checkbox create a checkbox, and here you can see that we have multiple checkboxes. I can check them all. So what we have next is this input of type range. We use it and then we specify the minimum value and the maximum value, and then the user will be able to select the range that they want to select. Like a spice level here, for example. As you can see, we can select from different values, but by using this input type range. And then in every form, there has to be a submit button. And that's why we use this input type submit. So when I click on the submit button, the form will submit. And that's it. Now we're ready to give our web pages our personal, or most of the time corporate touch with CSS. So see you in the next video.